Hello, everybody. Good evening. We are a little bit late, so we apologize. Two working moms here, running a little bit late with cell phones that are not particularly charged. So let's hope and keep our fingers crossed that our phone is going to hang in there. But welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm super excited about this interview because I have somebody really amazing with me who I love so dearly. So this is Michal Mehler. I have met Michal, I don't know, maybe a couple of years ago?
3 years ago, I think.
And, you know, she has become a really dear friend, and she has been completely instrumental to just building this place that we call Whole Mother Village. So she's, you know, has a really kind of special place in my heart. And I'm super excited that we're actually going to talk about something that is really something that is so important and that fills our practices, and that is, you know, attention to supporting women on their birth journey and giving them tools to have the most empowering and, in this case, gentle birth with Paula Method. So before we start talking about that, I would like to make sure that whoever is going to be joining us is comfortably settled. Please make sure you guys let us know you're here, send us a heart or a thumbs up or whatever it is, and make sure that if you have any questions for Michal that regard Paula Method, ask them. We're going to take some time at the end to answer them. And if you don't watch us during the live interview, we are going to be replaying it, posting it on our page, and also we're going to share it in different groups. You can still ask questions. I'm going to post Michal's information on it, and we'll be answering your questions as you're asking him, as you're watching it too. So, thank you so much for being here. I know you're not feeling well, so it's really fantastic.
Going to drink my tea as we go through the interview.
Absolutely. So I'm really grateful that you found time to come and join us today. So before we start talking about prenatal Paula Method and gentle birth, how about a few words about you? Oh, come on.
So, because we're going to talk about birth today, I'll just say that the birth of my one and only child was a turning point in my life that brought a lot of positive change into my life. I had a very close relationship with my doula back then, and I told her, you know, I keep learning from all the childbirth educators that I work with, that we really have to be positive all the time. And you know what? I'm totally going to dive into it, and I'm going to be completely positive and only positive. However, I said, if it turns out to be not so good, I might go back to my pessimistic, you know, more negative personality after the birth. However, if it's going to be the birth of my life, it's going to be fabulous, wonderful, amazing. I'll keep positive for the rest of my life. And it was indeed the most amazing experience. I actually felt as I was giving birth as if the entire universe is there for me. And I know it may sound egoistic, but it was a very beautiful feeling that I'm just being supported very, very much. And everything there is just positive. And I'm really taking this experience with me into this work. I'm so totally in love with working with pregnant women and women with little babies postpartum. And I hope that I'm hoping that I'm able to pass this optimistic point of view to them about childbirth. Absolutely. And how much I think this can be a turning point to everyone.
Yeah, for sharing that. It is so true. I know. I mean, you know, your passion comes through in everything that you do, and I know that was one of the things that just really drove me to, you know, get to know you and to work together. So it has been an incredible journey, kind of, you know, building this relationship with us, and then kind of seeing, like, you know, how far it can go when we come together and we kind of.
I'm very emotional. This is me always.
Well, and that's a good thing. It's honesty, and I think that's, you know, that's really important. And you know, it's just kind of incredible. Let me tell everybody a couple of things, And, you know, without question, you're an incredibly passionate, loving, giving human being. You know, come to this and you created a practice that is called Graceful Ease, the Paula Method practice. And Michal is located, her studio is located right here at Whole Mother Village with us.
Sitting in it.
So we are, I'm just going to turn this a little bit.
How did we end up having all the plants there?
We just migrated to a different place with a beautiful background that just kind of like disappeared on us. But that's okay. So Michal has a practice that's called Graceful Ease, Paula Method practice. She has a studio here within our studio, Whole Mother Village. So if you're coming in here, make sure you come and say hello. You pick up Michal's, you know, cards, business cards or anything, or just, you know, make sure you ask some questions.
Gives them one free consultation with me.
Oh,
either a prenatal consultation or a postpartum consultation.
Fabulous.
Both.
Okay, so that's huge. So whoever's with us, please make sure you ask questions because now we're going to actually get to it. So the title and the point of this interview was to really focus on the prenatal Paula Method and then how Paula Method, practicing Paula Method can give you the experience of a gentle and easy birth. Totally intrigued, want to know more, but let's maybe talk a tiny little bit about what is Paula Method in general before we kind of dissect it and, you know, take it small into the prenatal, right?
Because I think one thing I hear over and over, it's such a foreign name.
Right.
It means nothing to most people. Although here and there I'm surprised to find out that people actually seek Paula Method practitioners and are searching online for a practitioner that does specifically this. So a little bit about the method. To describe it very broadly, it's a holistic method, or a holistic approach to birth, to health, also to birth, but in general to health.
Of course.
And what we're trying to do with this method is to awaken the body and to support it on its way to spontaneous healing. So we have the ability to heal ourselves. But in our modern life, we kind of tend to disconnect from this body that is trying to help us rebalance ourselves and go back to health over and over again. And we just kind of miss these opportunities or miss these signals that the body's sending to us all the time. And once we learn them, we can constantly be in a process of rebalancing. You know, that's life. We are in balance and then we jump out of balance and then we have to work our way back. And if we work together with our body mindfully, we can be more in the direction of self-healing all the time, basically.
That's wonderful.
During childbirth as well.
Okay. So is Paula Method in general, is it something, you know, based in like physical? Is it a mental kind of, is it a connection?
It's a combination,
both,
but
all of those parts. Okay.
Yes. It's a physical work. So we call it an exercise method.
Okay.
We begin our work with our clients with exercises. However, we try to pass the I'm missing a word right now, but we're trying to pass the ability to work to the clients, to the students as soon as possible, so that they have the tools to work on their own and they don't need their teacher. Okay. So we very much are interested in their independency.
Right.
Okay. And the same with our prenatal work. I want to give my pregnant clients the tools to do the work on their own and to come to birth very prepared and just knowing their body. And when they get those signals, to just dance with them, to know how to do the work.
Just follow basically, right? What the body is telling and what you have learned to kind of listen, right?
Exactly.
To your own kind of
we just listen to the body on a completely different level. And I hear it again, this is another something that I hear over and over again. People tell me, oh, I'm very connected to my body. And then a few months later, they tell me, I had no idea. I thought that I'm very connected to my body. But now it's a completely different level, and it's a fun place to be, a fun place to be in.
Yeah. Yeah, whatever.
Two
foreign speakers trying to have a conversation in English.
Hopefully, we pass the message somehow.
I think so. I think we're doing like a great job. Okay, so I'm completely intrigued. I am extremely excited about having the opportunity to share this just unique, not well known approach to childbirth. It's such a wonderful treat to kind of discover and just kind of explore something different and something that is so complex and just really seems to combine so many different things that, you know, we really felt that this was going to be a great opportunity to kind of like push it out into the mainstream. So hopefully with this interview, a lot more moms are going to learn, a lot more moms are going to come over and just kind of, you know, get at least, you know, a little bit of an experience. Now, I can attest, because when we met each other and we talked about what we were doing and about our work, when Michal explained to me about Paula Method, I was kind of like scratching my head a little bit. It was definitely intriguing, and I loved the idea, but I kind of was like, I have no idea what it is. So I know that we kind of like, you know, when I tried to describe what she's doing, and you know, when you describe,
it's difficult to do that, right?
It's difficult to describe it. So
every practitioner of this method will assess.
Right.
Yeah,
it's just, you know, I agree, but I had the opportunity to actually take a demo class with Michal, and it was like amazing. It was like mind-blowing, fantastic. So we're definitely
pleasant, right?
It was
mostly it's just so fun to feel it.
It really is. It was kind of amazing. So we'll be creating opportunities for you guys to try this and have a lot of ways to you know, give yourself the opportunity to kind of you know, see what it feels like. But let's talk about the prenatal Paula Method. So as a prenatal kind of a method, right? Like, you know, it kind of gets itself into a category of childbirth education, right? I'm assuming. So can you tell us more about, like, what is the essence of the Paula Method? Let's start with that. Like, what makes it different from the other childbirth education, you know, preparation,
so I think series? We can't avoid the sphincter talk,
we
right?
can't. No, I think sphincters are completely relevant, and we absolutely need to talk about sphincters.
So I want to focus on two aspects of this method that are very unique, and I think to explain why this method is so wonderful and so exact and specific, or specifically good for childbirth. So the Paula Method was invented or developed by a woman who has already passed away, but her name was Paula Garberg. And Paula found out through a process of self-healing that she went through, that there's a whole system in the body of muscles that are connected to each other, related to each other. Some of them activate others in the same system, and others just work in harmony with each other. And the system that she found out is a system of muscles that are valve muscles, basically, that are circular, and in English anatomy are called sphincters. We actually have hundreds of sphincters in our body. We have sphincters in every system, from respiratory, blood vessels, our urinary system, our digestive system. All the systems in our body have major sphincters in them. And the method teaches people how to activate them on the one hand, healthily, and on the other hand, she found how to heal an injured or a non-functioning sphincters by activating other sphincters that are in good shape. And by that, we're able to create miraculous processes or opportunities of healing for people, also people with all kinds of disabilities, special needs. We work beautifully with them.
And I mean, you know, everybody has sphincters, right? So this method really kind of applies to general health for men and women, children.
Right.
But specifically,
not mostly, but also for pelvic floor, which is something that's also, is kind of evolving now. The understanding of the pelvic floor, this is something that we've done for so many years. The attention and our approach is very gentle. We don't touch the pelvic floor.
Mm-hmm.
We activate the pelvic floor either directly or from afar with other muscles,
mm-hmm.
other sphincters in the body, in a beautiful way, and we help heal the pelvic floor when necessary.
But it's the individual who does that, right? With your direction.
Yes,
mm-hmm.
They find a way to do it on their own. And to understand your pelvic floor before childbirth is a wonderful thing, because you just work
Absolutely.
on a completely different level of understanding and activation
mm-hmm.
of that part. And although the vagina is not a sphincter, it has so many sphincters in its area, and it does react to this work very much,
mm-hmm.
and it's very helpful during childbirth to know exactly what you're trying to do.
Mm-hmm. What about cervix? That is not a
not a sphincter either, but
it's kind of circular, right?
It is circular. I think what helps so much with our understanding during childbirth is just that we know how to work with the contractions.
Mm-hmm.
So because sphincters contract and relax, or open and relax, we have so many exercises, gentle exercises, that simulate exactly that. And when the uterus contracts during childbirth, we work with it.
Okay.
We contract with the uterus. So we get a very effective work of this uterus.
mm-hmm.
Things are quicker and a lot more pleasant, because we work together. We don't go against it.
Right.
And we're not constantly so
it's
attached to the relaxing.
Right.
We really work. We work
right.
hard, but when you work correctly, you get wonderful results very quickly.
Mm-hmm.
And the results do come very quickly with this method.
Wonderful.
Yes.
Sounds amazing. So during your classes, and we'll talk about what your series look like, right? You predominantly focus on working with the sphincters that are kind of related to kind of the childbirth
yes.
process, and kind of getting to know them and all
mm-hmm.
that. Okay.
Yes,
Sounds incredible.
Can I add one more thing?
Absolutely, please.
I'm sorry, my nose keeps running. Another something that we do very well, and I think is very unique for this method, is the way that we connect to the body directly and very quickly.
Mm-hmm.
And how people who learn the method get to this connection and understanding of the body's cues on a very deep level. And again, during childbirth, we are assumed to be listening to what our body wants, and who knows how to do that.
Right.
And during the course, if people take the 10 classes course, or during individual lessons or sessions, we really learn how to do it. So during childbirth, my students or other practitioners' students just feel that they're naturally flowing with it. And even exercises that they've learned during the course, and they thought, I'm not going to use this one, just come out of them. And they're like, oh my gosh, my body keeps doing exactly what she told me it will be doing, without me even intending to do that. Right. It's just asking for these exercises. It knows them already so well, and it just it flows very naturally.
Love it. Sounds amazing. So let's talk about your childbirth series, right? So it consists of 10 classes.
Most usually between 8 and 10. When I give the 10, okay, I'll let you ask the entire.
Yeah, no, sorry. Tell me. No, you don't have to. I mean, please talk away, because you're the expert. So 10-week series, roughly, right?
Mm-hmm.
Can you just tell us more, like a little bit about like the structure, what
yes.
are kind of the pillars, or what are the chapters, and in some way
yes.
of this method.
I'll be happy to do that. So I either give an 8-week session or a 10-week session. I tend to go more with a 10-week session, and I'll explain why in just a few seconds. The course is built over chapters, so every lesson is a chapter, and we learn a specific thing. So if you miss a class, you basically miss a chapter.
Okay.
So it's best not to miss classes.
Mm-hmm.
It happens
You
sometimes.
do your best, right?
Yes, it happens sometimes, and I also do my best to help people catch up.
Mm-hmm.
And we have our the 3 last lessons. We do a lot. We go through many birth simulations.
Mm-hmm.
And during these simulations, we're able to repeat stuff, and my students get a chart with all the exercises that we use during childbirth, with the specific stages and phases of birth, when to use what. However, in each lesson we learn some of these subjects, so I'll go quickly through them.
Yes, please.
We work about relaxation, how to get to a deeper relaxation.
Mm-hmm.
How do we achieve this instant deeper relaxation? We go through exercises for early labor. We talk about pelvic floor awareness, all kinds of pelvic floor issues that can come up during pregnancy, how to assist with them during pregnancy. So we heal some things that people think you cannot work on during pregnancy. We do heal and assist during pregnancy. So we learn how to, first of all, avoid injuries and avoid problems in the future as much as we can. We learn how to it's too late at night, huh?
No.
My English. How to get more familiar, I'll use a different word, just to get more familiar with the pelvic floor and how to recognize the different parts and how to activate them efficiently.
That's wonderful.
We talk about nutrition during
So important.
pregnancy and the digestive system, and we learn exercises to help with everything
That is
related
wonderful.
to digestion.
Yes.
How to digest better, what to do if I have
Heartburn.
nausea or heartburn, what to do
That's
if
a
I
huge
have
one,
hemorrhoids, what to do if I'm constipated. We learn practical exercises that help and solve these problems.
That's
right
amazing.
there and there.
Wonderful.
We learn how to do it in the body. We learn exercises for active labor, so how we play with this contractions time and then in between contractions times. We learn about the different hormones that are taking part of childbirth, how to produce the right hormones, how to produce oxytocin, how to produce endorphins, which are related to oxytocin. We learn it during classes.
The birth cocktail, right?
We talk about postpartum, how
So
to
important.
prepare. We have a lesson dealing with postpartum preparation, what exercises we can practice
That's
after the
wonderful.
baby arrives. Some of them are exercises we use for childbirth and later will be efficient for healing the pelvic floor and the uterus and everything related.
Sciatica? Oh, sciatica. Yes, but postpartum I meant
diastasis. Yes, absolutely. And then we learn what is the classic technique of the Paula Method for giving birth. We have a specific technique. In Israel, where I come from, there are midwives who are trained in the Paula Method. And you come to the hospital, and if you get a midwife that is trained in the method, she'll walk you through the right exercises as you are giving birth.
Oh my gosh, that's
so
amazing.
efficient. It's so wonderful. It's quite amazing. Hopefully one day we'll have midwives like this here in the United States as well.
That would be, yes.
And then we start practicing. So we have the birth simulations. We even have exercises to deliver the placenta, for instance. I had I had a speedy birth, but then the placenta got stuck.
Right.
So if I only knew the method back then, I could deliver the placenta a lot quicker.
Right, contractions continue, right?
Exactly.
So
yes.
it doesn't stop with delivering the baby.
Now, if we have the 10 lessons or the 10 classes course, we have one lesson with husbands or doulas. So
that's
women
wonderful.
are
team,
welcome to
basically.
bring whichever person that they
Fabulous.
want. And we go through the most important exercises so that they're familiar with them, and also that they're familiar with the chart and what exercises work with which phase, so that in case
How wonderful
that you're in a
this is.
complete shock, you have a blackout, you don't know what you're doing, there's somebody who is in class with you and knows it and
Right.
will help you and say, oh.
Just get you back on track
Yes.
with, oh, that's fantastic. Oh, I love this.
And then the best part of it is I give each of the attendants, is that?
Yeah. Students.
Students
Moms.
of my course, I give one private session as a part of the group session, and the private sessions are just a completely different world because we're able to focus on each woman's individual needs.
Yeah.
These sessions are usually quite amazing. The emotional stuff that comes out, everything, whatever they need, we're there to do this session together. And that's another opportunity to cover up stuff if anyone missed anything.
Right.
So that's the opportunity to go through these things. So that's more or less what we do.
That is incredibly complex and amazing. Now, how long are those classes? Are they 2 hours?
They used to be an hour, but I find that my students really like to share their experience, and I totally want it and I want to support it. So it's going to, from my next session on, it will be an hour and a half, so that we have enough time to share our experience from all kind of work that we do during class, because many important emotions and other physical sensations come up, and it's important to give the time and attention to whatever comes up.
Absolutely, and this is so wonderful because I think that, a point of a childbirth class or series is obviously to share some information, teach tools, but I think we also know that creating the community, coming together with other moms, creates an environment where we feel kind of validated, we feel heard. So being in a space where other women are kind of experiencing the same thing, they're at the same place at the same time. They know what we're thinking. It's just really really allows us to kind of dig really deep and be able to share and not feel bad about it and get a good feedback. But the other thing
it also creates a social group.
Absolutely.
You always want to have friends that have babies the same age as your baby, and
absolutely.
The support
that's
is
the
priceless.
village, right?
That's
the village. Building of the village. That's really what it is. And then the other thing is, which I love about group work always, is that we all hold some wisdom within us, whether we really believe in it or not, but we come from different backgrounds, we've come from different countries, different families, and everybody has something in their life that they can share with others and really enrich somebody else's experience. So I think that the ability to kind of be able to share and empower each other with something that we don't even think exists, but it does, because we all have instinctual, cultural, inner wisdom in us that just gets to be shared in a group setting, and I think that's just like a huge value of classes. So I'm so glad that you just give this opportunity for moms to kind of just tune into each other, and it's
express themselves.
Right, it's so important and so amazing. So I think we talked about the class. What time is it? I think we're kind of running towards the end of this, right? So is there anything, I can say I know a few people that have been through your class and have absolutely loved it. I know there are women that are coming in as I'm sitting at my desk out there, just religiously to Michal's classes because they love it. And it's really...
these are not necessarily...
They're necessarily pregnant. They're
women.
Just, maintenance, community, continuing. So I know firsthand that the response to your childbirth class has been phenomenal from those that I know. Is there any kind of data or in general, women that are practicing Paula Method and, using that to prepare for birth, in general, I'm assuming, the response from your clients is amazing. And you have a bunch of testimonials.
Yeah, I have some on my I'm not so good at this actually. I have some pretty old testimonials on my website. I should probably refresh and get some new ones.
Yes.
Even if I have them, I don't post them. Terrible. But yes, there is a lot of information on the website, and I'm always happy to answer emails and text messages and just to speak to people over the phone, or to have them come here and get their free consultation, just to kind of find out what they can get from this.
And then, you know, the experience, right? So if there's anybody who's watching us who has been Michal's student, please write us a little comment. Share this with, you know, with all the other ones that are listening and that are watching us, because just a few words, because I know there's so much positive and wonderful out there. So, you know, share it with all the ones that are here. So,
I believe that I didn't even tell any of my students that I'm going to be online today.
You did not?
I completely forgot to mention this.
Hopefully they're seeing you anyway.
The replay, hopefully.
The replay, they will come and they will come in and they will tell us wonderful things.
They all have babies, so I don't want to...
I know, it's probably like dinner time, but that's okay. We're, you know, they'll catch us later. That's totally fine. I know we have so much to talk about. There's so many different things that are Paula Method related, or that have topics that came up. So we're definitely going to be back with Michal talking about other...
Hi! You are here! Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. Yes. All right.
Okay.
Has Yara taken your class?
Yeah.
Oh, wonderful.
She has I think, 3 months old at home, Yara.
Oh, congratulations.
Yes. She had a wonderful birth.
Oh my goodness.
So
please share the story if you have a minute, if you have a hand, or, you know, one maybe free. Definitely please go for it. We'll be back talking about a bunch of different topics that kind of span from, you know, conception to pregnancy, postpartum.
I suspect the postpartum will also be amazing in every other class you do. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you, Erin, for actually bringing this up, because I was actually
going to plan
ask.
One, right?
Yes, and we're planning a class. We're trying to kind of come up with some kind of like a good class. But that was actually one of the questions that I wanted to ask before we finish. So this 10-week childbirth preparation series is amazing. It takes you through preparing. It teaches you what to do. You go home, you practice. You've got an amazing birth. What happens afterwards? So what are
so the juicy part begins later. And not because preparation for birth is not amazing. It's a beautiful process. It's just that we are limited with what we can do, because mostly we want to support this pregnancy.
Right.
But when the baby's out, we can do everything. We can really explore this method into its depth and learn how to utilize our pelvic floor to our everyday living, everything that we do, our posture, our breathing, our emotional health, everything. And it's just a beautiful process after having the baby. First of all, women come with their babies to my classes.
Oh, that's
and
wonderful.
We do some Paula Method infant massage. We learn how to activate our baby's sphincters for better digestion, for everything you can think about. Again, constipation, maybe, I don't know, many things.
Whatever
it is.
Right.
Yes. And yeah, it's just a very educational, deep, and life-changing process. We treat our body differently with this method, with a lot of respect and a lot of love.
Yeah.
We should all love our bodies.
We should, right? We only have one body, and we should definitely...
We should bring babies to this world. What more?
Right? Oh my gosh, this is amazing. I'm like totally loving it, because I'm exploring this as much as everybody else is right now. I mean, I know little bits and pieces, but this is kind of really fantastic. Thank you so much for that.
Thank you for having me.
Oh my gosh, my pleasure.
To be here.
Is there anything you want to say?
Yes.
And I know you did have kind of a great idea of a message out there to moms of bellies and moms with babies.
I want to reach out to the women who are listening to us, who are experiencing their first pregnancy. You just mentioned how much wisdom comes from women's own experience, and I have to admit, the majority of my students, perhaps 90% of my students, come to learn this method after having childbirth or having
Already
a
having a
child,
baby.
right? Already had a baby once or twice or 3 times.
Mhm.
So I also have clients with their 4th baby, and I really want to reach out for the new moms, the first time pregnancies. Take childbirth education classes. Don't skip it. You want to be prepared for this childbirth. There is some naiveness, can you say that in English? Naivety that I find from first time women who are pregnant for the first time. They assume that their body knows how to do the work, and it does. It really does.
Right.
And they also assume that the staff in the hospital will do everything to help them go through this natural process and help them have this birth of their dreams. And sadly, reality is not exactly this way, especially not here in New Jersey or in the United States.
I agree.
We have to find those people who will prepare us, who do believe in our natural ability to give birth.
Absolutely.
We all need a doula. Honestly, we all need a doula. We don't skip the doula. And we all have to take childbirth education classes and read books and watch movies and look for the YouTube videos. Educate yourself as much as you can and surround yourself with the right professionals who will provide you with the help to get this birth of your dreams. You deserve it, but you need help to do this.
Absolutely.
That's my message.
Oh my God. I love you, and I love just this opportunity to hang out with you
so
and
much.
share all of
Awesome
this.
hearing.
Oh my goodness. Thank you so much, whoever has
Thank
joined
you.
us. Please continue with your questions, any kind of comments. Definitely check out Michal's practice. I'm going to post her website.
Yeah.
Just
Facebook come here, or your website, which
our
also
website,
is
we're all
connected
here.
to mine.
Exactly. And we'll be back definitely next week with another interview with a different provider, but we'll definitely be back with more with Michal. I'm already excited about it. This was a wonderful evening. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Alice.